everyone, in today's video I'll be trying out the Staedtler Mars Lumograph black graphite pencils. Now this pencil or this set comes in a set of 6 pencils and they come in a metal tin which makes it convenient to keep them all in one place. And the pencils that come in this particular set are the 8B, 7B, 6B, 4B, 2B and HB. So I'm going to try out these pencils in my sketchbook. This is a regular sketchbook, although the paper does have a bit of texture to it. I just want to see how the pencils go down on this paper and just see the values between the different pencils. So a thing to remember with graphite pencils, the pencils like the H, 2H, 4H, which are not in this set, but those pencils have harder leads and can go much lighter. The color goes down much lighter, whereas the pencil goes down much lighter with the values. But with the pencil that's a HB, 2B, 4B, 6B and so forth, those pencils have softer leads and they go down much darker, and the values are much stronger and darker values are produced by those pencils. You can use these pencils or any graphite pencil for that matter. If you want them to be really dark, all you got to do is either add more pressure as you applying the pencil to the paper, or you can just add multiple layers of the pencil over the area you work. The more layers, the darker it gets. Just a tip to remember, try not to press too hard down with graphite pencils, because you can actually damage the paper, especially if you want more layers to build up over time. So if you're aiming to get that area covered really smooth and you're not going to work on it again, then you can apply more pressure. But usually I try to just limit the amount of pressure. Like now I'm also drawing, I'm using a very light hand. That's why I had to go over the 7B and the 6B just to see that it's actually showing the different values. Another thing I like about these pencils, they've got a hexagon barrel. That's one good point, and the other point is that at the end, on every side of the pencil, it's got the pencil marked on it, the type of pencil you're using, a 6B for example in this case. So even if your pencil rolls around or you put it down and pick it up, you don't have to keep checking which pencil you're picking up. You can see it automatically by just glancing at it. You can see that this is a 6B and you can pick it up and use it. So that's one small thing, but something that's a bit convenient to have when you are using your graphite pencils for a sketch or a drawing. Now I decided to do a quick sketch in the sketchbook using these pencils just to see how they work on a drawing. Now this drawing is not going to be a hyper realistic, it's just going to be a realistic drawing, but just to see if these pencils can create the textures and the depth that I want to create in my realistic graphite pencil drawings. Although, as I said, it's not a super realistic. Now, what I do with any drawing, when I'm starting with the graphite drawing, I start off using an HB pencil just to get the initial sketch onto the paper and just basically to create a map of where everything goes. So basically where the position of the nose is, the eyes are, the ears, the stripes on the fur, or the darker areas, all of that will be done with the HB. Now I don't really keep track of the pencils I use, because usually as I'm working I just randomly pick up a pencil. If it does what I need it to do, I work with that pencil. Like for example, if I need an area to be very dark, I'll pick up the 8B pencil, apply it to my paper, get the areas I need to be really dark, and then move on to another pencil. Another good thing about these pencils that I picked up is they really work very well with adding different values. For example, if I want to use in a 7B for some darker areas to add more darker values to my drawing, I can use it for the darker values. But then just by reducing the amount of pressure I use on the pencil as I'm pressing down onto the paper and drawing with the pencil, just by reducing that amount of force I'm using, can create lighter lines, which are lighter values, which I can use for the lighter values of the drawing. So you don't have to have all the pencils, or you don't have to use all the pencils. You can just use one, and if you just vary your pressure that you're using, you can get lighter tones and darker tones. Obviously, to get very light tones, you will have to use a lighter, maybe a 2B or a HB. But if you want a 7B or 6B, can get you mid-tones. You can vary from the mid-tones to the darker tones. So that's definitely something that's a plus of these pencils, which I liked about them, because you could work with one pencil for longer without having to change pencils. Another thing I like about these pencils is that I didn't have to sharpen them at all during this drawing. Now, this is a small drawing and it's a quick sketch. It's not so detailed, and I'm not obviously the use of the pencil will depend on the size of the drawing, the in detail of the drawing, the amount of area you're covering with the pencil. Obviously, larger drawings with more pressure added to the pencil will, or to your drawing, is gonna have more usage of the pencil. But in this particular case, I've used this pencil for this sketch, and after this, at the time of the voiceover, I'm doing this much later, but I've done another drawing after this sketch of a more detailed drawing where I use the pencils and I didn't have to sharpen them. So it does tell me to an extent that these pencils do retain a point for longer, which means they can be used much longer before sharpening, as well as you're pressing the pencil down and working on the paper, if you add more pressure, the pencil doesn't break, the nibs don't break. So that is another good point, or a plus point to these pencils. May not last as long if you use a lot of pencil for a larger drawing, but they definitely have should I say, longer durability before you need to sharpen. So now I'm just going in, as I said, I start off with the initial sketch, start adding layer upon layer, and start building up the different values and creating the texture of the fur, the shadow areas, the highlighted areas. I leave the highlighted areas the color of the paper. In this case, it's like a little off-white. I leave it that color so that it can show that that's the lighter areas of the cat. That just makes it look a bit more realistic. But all in all, my final opinion of these pencils is definitely give them a try. They are really good pencils. I enjoyed working with them. I see myself using them again for graphite drawings that I do in the future. So give them a try if you do graphite pencil drawings. They are very useful to have for any artist that does sketching or drawing. It's something that you would like to have in your art supply cupboard. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to like and share, and don't forget to subscribe. Till the next one. Bye.